In some unprecedented news out of Tennessee, Republicans in the state legislature have voted to expel 2 Democratic lawmakers who stood in support of the student-led gun violence protests after the school shootings in Nashville that killed 3 9-year-old children and 3 staff members. They also tried to expel 1 other member, but that vote narrowly failed. The 3 lawmakers, being called the Tennessee Three, are Representative Justin Jones, Justin Pearson, and Gloria Johnson. I'll put up their photos on the screen and let you draw your own conclusions as to why she was narrowly spared by the Republican supermajority, but the other 2 weren't. Yep, one of life's great mysteries. In fact, here's what Representative Justin Jones and Gloria Johnson had to say about that.
I saw Gloria Johnson look at you. It's a moment that we all watched with her hugging you. And she remarked about the idea that maybe it's the color of your skin the reason why you're out and she's still in. And I see a lot of people who don't look like you shaking your hand. What was that moment like to have her reflect maybe on your race being the reason why you're no longer in that house?
I mean, Representative Johnson, my sister Gloria, has always stood with us and knows that we have been challenging systemic racism. We used to have a KKK statue in this Capitol. She stood with us when I was a community organizer. And so, I mean, you cannot deny what you heard today, where my colleagues telling me that I'm basically an uppity Negro, and that I didn't bow down, and I won't bow down, because this is too important for the next generation. And so what they're doing today is simply demonstrating to the world that we don't have democracy in Tennessee, that this system, that there is a system of systemic racism that governs Tennessee, and Cameron Sexton, the Speaker of the House, should be ashamed of himself.
I will answer your question. It might have to do with the color of our skin.
Justin Jones, who again was expelled, then called out the hypocrisy of Republicans voting to expel them for protesting, but not other members, including a literal child molester.
For years, one of your colleagues who was an admitted child molester sat in this chamber. No expulsion. One member sits in this chamber who was found guilty of domestic violence. No expulsion. We had a former speaker sit in this chamber who is now under federal investigation. No expulsion. We have a member still under federal investigation. No expulsion. We had a member pee in another member's chair in this chamber. No expulsion. In fact, they're in leadership. But in the governor's administration. And so once again, what you're saying to us, since you're trying to put us on trial, I'll say what you're really putting on trial is the state of Tennessee. What you're really showing for the world is holding up a mirror to a state that is going back to some dark roots, a state in which the Ku Klux Klan was founded, is now attempting another power grab by silencing the 2 youngest Black representatives and one of the only women, Democratic women in this body. That's what this is about. Let us be real today.
And here's Justin Jones calling out Republicans for their treatment of him and their obvious racist double standards.
Today, ladies and gentlemen, is we are upholding our Constitution. We are protecting the integrity of this body. Let's vote to expel him. That will send the case back to the voters in Davidson County. And if after looking at his conduct, they find he should come back, we will welcome him as a representative.
Representative Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I didn't hear a question, but while my colleague's statement was eloquent, what he was essentially saying was that Justin is an uppity Negro. How dare he point at the speaker and call a lie a lie? How dare he act like he's your equal? How dare he come before this body and not bow down? That's what Representative Bulso was saying, and that's what he told me on the elevator 2 days ago when he tried to incite violence against me and got in my face and said, "You are a damn disgrace." And I said, "Representative Bulso, hold on, let me pull up my phone. Can you say that again?" And he cowered and chose not to repeat it because he did not want the world to see what a disgrace he is for Williamson County voters.
And if you watch the expulsion votes and the question and answer process, you would see the amount of vicious hatred Republicans had for these Democratic lawmakers for putting spotlight on their inaction. And they were visibly angry that protesters peacefully called them out for doing absolutely nothing in the face of more and more gun violence. Here's their questioning of the other expelled lawmaker, Justin Pearson.
Here in this Tennessee General Assembly, that's why you're standing there, because of that temper tantrum that day, for that yearning to have attention. That's what you wanted. Well, you're getting it now. So I just advise you, if you want to conduct business in this House, file a bill. Be recognized, stand there and present it, and pass it. All you got to do is pass the bill.
Representative Pearson.
Now, you all heard that. How many of you would want to be spoken to that way? How many of you would want to be spoken to that way? We're not talking about politics. We're not talking about even gun violence. How many of you would want to be spoken to that way? The reason that I believe the sponsor of this legislation, of this resolution, spoke that way is because he's comfortable doing it. Because there's a decorum that allows it. There's a decorum that allows you to belittle people. We didn't belittle nobody.
Republicans could be spending this time actually passing laws to prevent the next shooting, but instead they're expelling those who are calling out their inaction. But protesters aren't stopping. Here are some recent videos of student-led protests marching into Nashville from all over the state demanding that Republicans take some action. Students have even adopted the chant, "You ban books, you ban drag, kids are still in body bags." Republicans in Tennessee just passed a new law criminalizing drag shows in public, with violators facing up to felony charges. And they're doing it in the name of protecting children. Meanwhile, the #1 cause of death of children in America isn't drag shows, it is guns. Through their own actions, they're telling every single person in their state and across the country that they don't give a shit about actually protecting children, but they sure as hell will use children as a cudgel to distract people with their culture war. And the thing is, it's not just that Tennessee Republicans aren't taking action on gun violence, they are actively working to loosen gun laws. For example, there's currently a bill moving through committees that would lower the minimum age for carrying guns from 21 to 18. The House version of that bill would allow for the open or concealed carry of any firearm, not just handguns, including AR-15s. This is still in the process of being passed by Republicans after the shooting. Republicans' actions speak for themselves here, and their priorities tell us everything we need to know. They are declaring an all-out assault on both American kids and our democracy. And this isn't a one-off event, it is a pattern. When Gen Z turned out to vote in the 2022 midterms, Republicans responded by introducing legislation to ban voting centers on college campuses. And now, with Democratic lawmakers speaking out for gun reform, Republicans responded by expelling them from the legislature. Their solution is never to moderate themselves or look inward or maybe, adopt popular policy positions. Instead, their response is to double down on attacking democracy every single time. No matter how many elections they lose, they will continue to double down on trying to hold power through whatever means necessary. This is what the road to fascism looks like. And as we saw in elections earlier this week, voters are finally taking notice. Republicans might have been able to eke out a win today, but they've awakened every young person and pro-democracy constituent in the state of Tennessee and across the country. And I can guarantee you that all of those people are going to vote. Before you go, a quick announcement. I've started a Spanish YouTube channel. Democrats desperately need to be able to appeal to Spanish-speaking audiences, so this is me doing my part. To help that channel get going in the algorithm so that we can finally start spreading our progressive message and breaking the conservative stranglehold on Spanish-speaking media, please subscribe and watch a few videos. The link to that channel, called Brian Tyler Cohen Espanol, is right here on this screen. And of course, to see more of my content in English, make sure to subscribe to this channel as well. The link is also right here on this screen. Thanks so much for watching.